Captain Alex Hart watched the distant stars from the bridge of the spacecraft Pioneer, his thoughts interrupted by the soft beep of the incoming transmission. "Captain, we're 20 minutes from orbit insertion around Zoran," Lieutenant Marcus Reed announced, his voice steady over the intercom. Alex turned from the viewport, his gaze settling on his crew busily monitoring their consoles. "Thank you, Marcus. Keep me posted on any changes," he replied, his tone reflecting the gravity of their mission. The door to the bridge slid open, and Dr. Sam Jensen, the mission's lead scientist, entered. He carried a digital tablet filled with the latest reports from Zoran. "Alex, the Zorians have confirmed the landing coordinates. They've sent over the final clearance for our arrival," Sam said, handing over the tablet. Alex reviewed the information, nodding slightly. "Everything seems in order," he murmured. "How's the crew feeling about the greeting?" Sam shrugged. "Curious, mostly, a bit nervous. It's not every day you get welcomed by aliens in such a unique way." The captain chuckled. "That's one way to put it. Let's ensure everyone remains diplomatic. We can't afford any misunderstandings." As they discussed the protocol, engineer Mia Flores joined them, her eyes bright with anticipation. "The energy signatures from Zoran are unlike anything we've seen. This could really advance our understanding of their technology," she said enthusiastically. "That's the spirit, Mia. Let's make sure we keep all channels open and maintain a respectful stance. Their customs might be different, but that's part of why we're here," Alex reminded her. "Speaking of customs, have you thought about how we'll handle the, traditional greeting?" Sam asked, a slight smirk playing at his lips. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I've been briefed thoroughly. We'll follow their lead. It's just a sign of trust, after all." Mia laughed softly. "I guess it's a bit more direct than a handshake." The conversation was cut short by Marcus's voice over the comm. "Captain, we're preparing for descent. You might want to strap in. It could get a bit bumpy." Alex nodded to his crew. "Positions, everyone. Let's show the Zorians that humanity is ready for this." As the crew dispersed to their stations, Alex took his seat, strapping himself in. The Pioneer shuddered slightly as it began its descent into Zoran's atmosphere. "Here we go," Alex muttered to himself. "Let's hope we're as prepared as we think we are." From his console, Marcus kept a watchful eye on the atmospheric data streaming in. "Atmospheric entry looks good, Captain. No surprises." "Good. Maintain speed and trajectory. Let's not keep our hosts waiting," Alex responded. The spacecraft's descent continued smoothly, and soon the lush landscapes of Zoran came into view. The planet was breathtaking, with vibrant colors that seemed almost surreal. Mia's voice filled the bridge, her excitement palpable. "Look at that vegetation. It's not just the greeting that's going to be unusual on this planet." Sam peered out the window, equally mesmerized. "Imagine what we could learn from them. This is the start of something big." Alex felt a surge of pride for his crew and their mission. They were on the verge of a new chapter in human history, about to set foot on an alien world that promised as much mystery as opportunity. He knew the importance of this moment, not just for their careers, but for all of humanity. The Pioneer touched down gently on the surface of Zoran, the engines whirring down as silence enveloped the ship. Alex stood up, straightening his uniform. "All right, team. Let's go meet our hosts. Remember, respect and understanding above all else." With a collective nod, the crew prepared to disembark, stepping into a new world and a potentially transformative encounter. The hatch of the Pioneer hissed open, revealing the lush alien landscape that sprawled endlessly before them. Captain Alex Hart led his team down the ramp, each step taking them closer to their first real interaction with the Zorians. At the base of the ramp, a delegation of Zorians awaited, their appearances as stunning and varied as the flora surrounding them. Their skin shimmered with iridescent hues that changed with the light, and their eyes, large and expressive, watched the humans with an intense curiosity. Dr. Sam Jensen, always the observer, whispered to Alex, "Notice their postures, Captain, completely open, no barriers. It must be a sign of trust in their culture." Alex nodded, his focus on the approaching figures. The leader of the Zorians, a tall figure with luminous blue skin, stepped forward with a graceful, fluid motion. She introduced herself as High Emissary Lyra. Her voice was melodious, almost hypnotic, and she spoke excellent English, a product of their preparation for this meeting. "Welcome, friends from Earth," Lyra said, spreading her arms in a welcoming gesture. "We are honored to have you walk upon our lands. We hope our greeting will resonate with the spirit of trust we wish to build between us." Mia Flores, standing slightly behind Alex, leaned in and muttered, "Here it comes. Let's keep the shock off our faces, team." Lyra's smile broadened, and she lifted the edges of her elaborate garment, revealing not just her body, but intricate bioluminescent patterns that ran down her legs. The display was startling, yet undeniably beautiful, resembling the artwork they had seen from space. The human crew stood frozen, a mixture of awe and discomfort on their faces. Alex, remembering his role as captain and diplomat, stepped forward with a small bow. "Hi, Emissary Lyra. We are grateful for your welcome. It's clear we have much to learn about each other." Sam, catching on, added, "Your customs are unique and tell a story we are eager to understand. This exchange is a valuable part of our journey." Lyra nodded, pleased with their response. "We greet you in this manner to show our openness and our commitment to sharing all that we are with you. We hide nothing from our guests." The rest of the Zorian delegation followed Lyra's lead, each revealing their own glowing designs. The pioneer crew, now understanding the gesture better, responded with nods and smiles, their initial discomfort replaced by fascination. Once the formalities concluded, Lyra invited them to follow her into the city. As they walked, Engineer Mia whispered to Alex, "I have to admit, that was less shocking once you understood the symbolism. It's actually quite beautiful." Alex chuckled softly. "It's all about context, Mia. What's normal for us can be bizarre for others, and vice versa. It's our job to bridge that gap." The Zorians led them through a city that was a blend of natural beauty and technological marvel. Buildings curved and flowed like the landscape, integrated so seamlessly with the environment that it was hard to tell where nature ended and architecture began. Lyra continued to explain their customs and history as they moved through the city. "Our architecture, like our greetings, is designed to be open, to blend with nature rather than oppose it. We believe in harmony, in the visible flow of energy and life." Captain Hart listened intently, his respect growing with every word. "Your principles could teach us a lot, High Emissary. There's a beauty here that's new to us, something deeply inspiring." As they reached the city center, a crowd of Zorians gathered, curious to see the humans. The children, in particular, were unabashed in their interest, coming close and staring up with wide, wondering eyes. Sam laughed, kneeling to speak to one of the children. "We look quite different, don't we? But we're also very excited to learn about you." The child nodded, touching Sam's hand lightly before running back to her parents. "That's what this is about, isn't it?" Mia said, watching the child go. "Making connections, however strange they start out." Alex agreed, his heart lighter than when he'd first stepped off the ship. "Exactly, Mia. It's about finding the common ground, and it looks like we're off to a good start." As the initial shock of the Zolarian greeting wore off, the crew of the Pioneer began to delve deeper into the intricacies of Zolarian society. Their hosts, eager to share, arranged a series of cultural exchanges, tours, and discussions. Captain Alex Hart found himself frequently in meetings with High Emissary Lyra and her advisors, discussing potential collaborative projects and learning more about their governance and societal norms. One morning, after a detailed tour of Zolaris's central energy hub, a marvel of sustainable technology, Alex and his crew were invited to a roundtable discussion on Zolarian social structures. Dr. Sam Jensen was particularly interested in this, keen to understand how their customs, like the greeting, fit into larger societal contexts. Lyra introduced the topic with a gentle smile. "Many find our customs strange, Captain Hart, but they are the foundation of our societal trust and openness. We believe that showing oneself, literally and metaphorically, removes barriers to understanding and cooperation." Engineer Mia Flores, always curious about the practical applications of cultural norms, chimed in. "It's fascinating, High Emissary. On Earth, trust is often built over time and through shared experiences. It's more reserved, I suppose." The discussion delved into the philosophical underpinnings of Zolarian society. Lyra explained, "Our openness is not just physical but also intellectual and emotional. We share our thoughts and feelings as freely as we share our physical selves." The crew listened, intrigued by the stark contrasts to human societal norms. However, not all crew members found the customs comfortable or easy to understand. Lieutenant Marcus Reed struggled with the openness, finding it at odds with his more private nature. During a break, he pulled Alex aside. "Captain, I respect their culture, but I'm having a hard time adjusting. It's all a bit overwhelming." Alex nodded, understanding his lieutenant's discomfort. It's a challenge, Marcus, but remember why we're here. We need to embrace their ways to build this relationship. It's crucial for our mission and for the broader goals of human-Zolarian relations. As the days passed, the crew's schedule remained packed with cultural activities. They attended a Zolarian play, which, much like their greeting, featured moments of intense personal revelation that the Zolarians found deeply moving, but which left some crew members perplexed. The Pioneer's cultural officer, Janakovic, observed the crew's mixed reactions and decided to organize a private meeting with Alex. "Captain, I think we need to address the crew's feelings about what we're experiencing. It might help to have an open discussion about our own boundaries and how we can respectfully navigate theirs." Alex agreed, and a meeting was held in the common area of the Pioneer. He started the session with a calm voice. "Everyone, I know this mission has challenged us in ways we didn't anticipate. It's important that we talk about what we're comfortable with and find ways to engage without feeling overwhelmed." The crew shared their thoughts candidly, expressing both admiration for Zolarian society and anxiety about the differences. Sam offered a perspective that helped bridge the gap. "Perhaps we can look at this as an opportunity to expand our own views on trust and openness. We don't have to adopt their ways, but we can certainly learn from them." Encouraged by the support of his team, Marcus spoke up. "I appreciate that, Sam. I'm willing to try to understand more, even if it's outside my comfort zone. It's part of why we're here, after all, to learn and grow." With the crew's renewed commitment to understanding and respecting Zolarian customs, Alex felt a profound sense of pride and responsibility. He concluded the meeting with a firm nod. "Let's continue to approach this mission with openness and curiosity. We represent Earth, and it's our duty to be as respectful and understanding as we can be." This renewed sense of purpose invigorated the team, and they returned to their cultural exchanges with a more unified approach, ready to embrace the complexities of Zolarian society while holding true to their own values. Despite the Pioneer crew's efforts to adapt and show respect to Zolarian customs, unforeseen challenges began to strain the diplomatic mission. During a formal banquet hosted by High Emissary Lyra to celebrate the ongoing cultural exchange, an incident threatened to derail the hard-won trust between the two civilizations. As the banquet commenced, the Zolarians presented a traditional dish, which, much like their greeting, involved a ritualistic display of openness. The food was served in vessels that were transparent, symbolizing transparency in all dealings. However, the main dish was a local delicacy that many humans found visually disturbing and morally challenging to consume. Captain Alex Hart, recognizing the importance of the moment, tried to navigate the situation with care. He whispered to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Reed, "Marcus, we need to handle this delicately. We can't offend our hosts, but I also understand if anyone chooses not to partake." Marcus nodded, his expression tense as he replied, "I'll follow your lead, Captain, but you're right, it's a tough call." Dr. Sam Jensen, ever the diplomat, attempted to diffuse the tension by engaging Lyra in a discussion about the dish's cultural significance. "High Emissary, could you share the story behind this dish? I believe understanding its origins might enrich our appreciation," he suggested smoothly. Lyra was pleased to explain, her voice filled with pride. "This dish is served at important gatherings and is a symbol of life's cyclical nature. Eating it is akin to acknowledging the hardships and triumphs of life. It's very sacred to us." As Lyra spoke, the crew listened, trying to reconcile their discomfort with the respect for Zolarian traditions. However, Engineer Mia Flores inadvertently expressed a grimace as she examined her serving, catching the attention of a few Zolarians who looked on with mixed expressions of surprise and disappointment. Seeing the potential for a diplomatic faux pas, Captain Hart addressed the room, his voice carrying a calm authority. "We are deeply honored to share in this important tradition with you. Each culture has its unique practices, and while we may find some aspects unfamiliar, it's a privilege to witness the diversity of life's expressions." His speech seemed to soothe the gathering, but the unease lingered like a shadow over the festivities. Later that evening, Alex convened an impromptu meeting with his senior crew in a quiet corner of the garden adjoining the banquet hall. "We need to be more prepared for these cultural differences," Alex stated firmly. "We can't afford another close call like tonight. It's clear that despite our efforts, there's still a lot we don't understand about the Zolarians." Mia looked thoughtful. "Maybe we need a more structured approach to these exchanges, like a briefing before each event, so we know what to expect and how to respond." Sam agreed, adding, and perhaps more regular debriefings among ourselves. It could help us process our experiences and form a coherent strategy for dealing with them. Marcus, who had been quiet, finally spoke. It might also help if we had a Zolarian cultural advisor with us during these events, someone who can give us real-time insights into what's happening and why. Captain Hart considered this. Good points, all. I'll propose these ideas to High Emissary Lyra tomorrow. We need to maintain this dialogue openly and honestly if we're going to succeed here. Determined to prevent any further misunderstandings, Alex approached Lyra the next day with his crew's suggestions, which she received with an understanding nod. I appreciate your commitment to understanding us better, she said. A cultural advisor is a wise idea. I will assign someone immediately. Reassured by Lyra's response, Alex returned to his crew with a renewed sense of purpose. The incident at the banquet had been a setback, but it was also a learning opportunity, one that they would use to forge a deeper, more genuine connection with the Zolarians. Despite the best efforts from both sides, the cultural chasm occasionally proved too vast to bridge easily. The diplomatic tensions that had simmered beneath the surface finally erupted into open conflict, spurred by a seemingly minor yet symbolically charged incident during an exploration mission. Captain Alex Hart and his team had joined a group of Zolarian scientists to survey a sacred site, a place believed by the Zolarians to be a convergence of cosmic energies. The site was off-limits to anyone not approved by Zolarian religious leaders, a detail communicated but perhaps not fully grasped by the human crew. During the expedition, Dr. Sam Jensen, caught up in his scientific curiosity, inadvertently crossed into a restricted area to get a closer look at some unique flora. His actions, observed by a group of Zolarian pilgrims, were perceived as a violation of sacred ground. The incident quickly escalated as word spread back to the Zolarian authorities. High Emissary Lyra, confronted with the delicate situation, met with Captain Hart to express her people's distress. Captain Hart, your crew members' actions have caused a significant upset. This site is not just land, it is a part of our spiritual heritage, Lyra explained, her tone more of disappointment than anger. Alex, feeling the weight of the situation, responded earnestly. High Emissary, I deeply regret this oversight. Dr. Jensen did not understand the full significance of the restrictions. We will respect your customs and ensure this does not happen again. Back on the Pioneer, the mood was tense as Alex convened a meeting with his senior staff. This incident has set us back, Alex stated grimly. We need to reinforce the importance of respecting Zolarian laws and customs to every crew member. Sam, I need you to help me communicate this message effectively. Sam nodded, visibly upset by the consequences of his actions. I'll make it right, Alex. I'll start with a formal apology to the Zolarians. The apology, though sincere, did little to quell the growing unease among the Zolarian populace, fueled by rumors and a sense of violated sanctity. The Zolarians began to view the human presence with increasing suspicion, calling into question the future of the diplomatic mission. In an attempt to mend fences, Alex requested a joint council with Zolarian leaders and religious figures. During the council, he reiterated his commitment to understanding and respecting Zolarian beliefs. We are here to learn from you and build a bridge between our worlds, not to disrupt your sacred traditions, he pledged. The Zolarians, moved by Alex's humility and the genuine remorse shown by Sam, agreed to continue the dialogue. However, they imposed stricter guidelines for human interaction with their cultural and religious sites. The Pioneer crew accepted the new terms, recognizing the necessity of compromise and the importance of earning back the Zolarian trust. Mia Flores, the engineer, worked closely with Zolarian technicians to develop technology that would prevent future incidents, including a biosensor that alerted humans when they were approaching restricted areas. This new technology was a symbol of the humans' willingness to adapt and respect Zolarian boundaries, and it slowly helped to restore some of the goodwill that had been lost. The crew's proactive approach demonstrated their dedication to the mission and their respect for Zolarian customs, paving the way for a gradual rebuilding of trust. As the days passed, the incident at the sacred site became a catalyst for deeper understanding and cooperation. Both humans and Zolarians learned from the experience, finding new ways to communicate and respect each other's boundaries, essential steps on the path to a true and lasting friendship. The aftermath of the sacred site incident left the crew of the Pioneer and their Zolarian hosts with a heightened awareness of the delicate nature of their interactions. Determined to strengthen the fragile bonds of trust that had been tested, Captain Alex Hart took proactive steps to deepen the crew's understanding of Zolarian culture. He arranged for more intensive cultural workshops and invited Zolarian historians and cultural experts aboard the Pioneer to provide lectures and interactive sessions. One such session was led by Zoran, a revered Zolarian cultural historian who discussed the philosophical and ethical foundations of Zolarian society. "Our principles are not merely guidelines, but the essence of our existence," Zoran explained to the gathered crew in the ship's common area. "Understanding this will help you see why we guard our sacred spaces so fervently." Dr. Sam Jensen, still feeling remorseful over the incident, was particularly engaged. He asked thoughtful questions, seeking to grasp the nuances of Zolarian spirituality. "How do you balance such openness with the need for privacy in sacred matters?" he inquired. Zoran appreciated the depth of Sam's questions. "Openness does not negate the sanctity of privacy," she responded. "We choose what to share and when, trusting that our choices are respected by others. This balance is central to our interactions." Meanwhile, engineer Mia Flores focused on practical applications of these cultural insights, collaborating with Zolarian tech experts to refine the biosensors. The improved devices would now provide not only alerts, but also cultural context about the areas they were entering. "This tool will help prevent misunderstandings and show our respect for your boundaries," Mia explained during a demonstration with Zolarian engineers. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, who had struggled with the Zolarian customs initially, found himself slowly adapting, aided by his daily interactions with Zolarian crew members who were assigned to the Pioneer as part of a cultural exchange program. During a joint training session, Marcus and his Zolarian counterpart, Tael, practiced emergency procedures. "It's about more than protocols," Tael noted. "It's about understanding each other's instincts and reactions." The training sessions, cultural exchanges, and ongoing dialogues began to bear fruit, as signs of mutual respect and understanding became increasingly evident among all participants. Captain Hart noted this progress in his daily log, pleased with the transformation he witnessed within his crew and their hosts. However, the path to understanding was not without its setbacks. During a public discussion forum on the Pioneer, a debate over the interpretation of a Zolarian cultural symbol led to a heated argument between a Zolarian scholar and a human anthropologist. The incident could have derailed the recent advancements in intercultural relations, but Captain Hart intervened. "Let's view this as an opportunity to explore our differences and learn from them," he suggested, calming the rising tensions. The forum ended on a positive note, with both parties agreeing to disagree and promising to revisit the discussion with more research and openness. This incident underscored the ongoing need for patience and the commitment to learning that defined the Pioneer's mission. As the weeks turned into months, the efforts of the Pioneer crew and the Zolarian hosts gradually transformed their initial wary interactions into a partnership marked by deep respect and cooperation. The cultural workshops and joint projects not only bridged the gap between human and Zolarian understanding, but also paved the way for deeper, more meaningful collaborations. Captain Hart, reflecting on the journey so far, shared his thoughts in a transmission to Earth. "We've learned that diplomacy is not just about managing differences, but embracing them as catalysts for growth and understanding. Our mission has shown that even the most unfamiliar customs can lead to profound connections if approached with respect and a willingness to learn." This renewed spirit of cooperation promised a brighter future for both humans and Zolarians as they continued to explore the vast potential of their growing friendship. The cultural understanding and mutual respect between the Zolarians and the crew of the Pioneer had grown significantly, but Captain Alex Hart knew that the true test of their relationship would come with the integration of their distinct values into shared projects. It was time to move beyond mere understanding to active collaboration, which would demonstrate the practical benefits of their diplomatic efforts. Captain Hart proposed a joint venture, the creation of a combined human-Zolarian research facility on Zoran. This facility would focus on technology exchange and environmental conservation, leveraging human engineering prowess and Zolarian ecological insights. High Emissary Lyra and the Zolarian Council embraced the idea, seeing it as a symbol of the trust and progress they had achieved together. As preparations for the groundbreaking ceremony were underway, Dr. Sam Jensen was tasked with coordinating the scientific agendas. "We need to ensure that our research goals align with Zolarian principles," Sam explained during a planning meeting. "It's not just about what we stand to gain, but how we can contribute to Zorian's sustainability." Engineer Mia Flores, alongside her Zolarian counterpart Zan, worked on designing the facility itself. They decided on a structure that would blend Zolarian organic architectural styles with human technological aesthetics, a physical representation of their cooperation. The building itself will be a statement of unity, Mia said, her voice filled with enthusiasm as she presented the holographic model to the council. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, now more accustomed to Zolarian customs, was involved in training the security teams, consisting of both human and Zolarian personnel. It's crucial that our teams operate seamlessly, Marcus explained during a joint training session. We must understand each other's tactics and instincts, not just to protect the facility, but to embody the spirit of partnership it represents. As the day of the ceremony approached, Captain Hart felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. This project was the culmination of all their efforts and would either cement their relationship or expose unresolved tensions. The ceremony itself was attended by leaders from both species, as well as representatives from various interstellar diplomatic corps who were curious about the groundbreaking alliance. Captain Hart and High Emissary Lyra both spoke about the significance of the facility. As we lay the foundation of this center, we also lay a new foundation for our relationship, one built on mutual respect, shared goals, and a commitment to a better future, Alex declared, his words echoing over the assembled crowd. High Emissary Lyra added, "Today we do not just combine our technologies, we combine our visions for the future. This center represents our shared dreams and the bridge we have built between our worlds." The ceremony concluded with the placing of a capsule containing items from both Earth and Zorian into the foundations of the building, a time capsule meant to be a message to future generations about the power of cooperation. Following the ceremony, there were informal celebrations where Zolarians and humans mingled freely, sharing stories, laughter, and hopes. The joy and camaraderie felt genuine, a far cry from the cautious curiosity that had marked their first meeting. Back on the Pioneer, Captain Hart reflected on the events in his log. Today was a victory not just for our mission, but for the idea that unity can be achieved even across the vastness of space. This facility will be a beacon of that unity, a place where our cultures can meet and create something greater than the sum of our parts. As the research center began its operations, the daily interactions at the facility continued to strengthen the bonds between the two species. Each challenge faced and overcome together, each discovery made through combined effort, reinforced the idea that their partnership was not just beneficial, but vital. This turning point in human-Zolarian relations marked a new era of interstellar diplomacy, proving that with understanding, respect, and shared goals, even the stars themselves were not the limit. With the research facility up and running, the collaborative efforts between humans and Zolarians not only flourished, but also became a model of interstellar cooperation and peace. The facility, known as the Harmony Center, was producing groundbreaking results in energy sustainability and ecological restoration, celebrated by both communities and beyond. Captain Alex Hart, however, knew that maintaining peace was an ongoing effort. He organized a series of conferences at the Harmony Center, inviting leaders and scholars from both species to discuss further expansions of their partnership and to address any underlying tensions that might still exist. During one such conference, a delicate issue arose. A faction of Zolarians, led by a respected elder named Zoran, expressed concerns about the rapid integration of human technologies into Zolarian society. "While we cherish our relationship," Zoran spoke at the gathering, "we must ensure that our essence, our core values, are not overshadowed by this fusion." Captain Hart listened intently, recognizing the validity of Zoran's concerns. In response, he proposed the creation of a cultural preservation committee comprising members from both species to oversee that each technology or initiative adopted at the Harmony Center respected and reflected Zolarian culture as much as human innovation. Dr. Sam Jensen supported the proposal with a suggestion for an annual cultural festival, a celebration where we can showcase Zolarian traditions and human innovations side by side, fostering a deeper appreciation for our distinct heritages. The committee was well received, and the planning for the first cultural festival began. Engineer Mia Flores and her Zolarian counterpart, Zan, were tasked with designing an exhibit that would use virtual reality to allow visitors to experience the history and future visions of both worlds. As preparations for the festival continued, the Pioneer's crew remained actively involved in daily operations at the Harmony Center. They also participated in Zolarian community activities, further strengthening their personal ties with the Zolarians. The festival day arrived, and it was a vibrant affair, filled with colors, music, and laughter. Zolarians and humans alike enjoyed traditional Zolarian dances, human-made holographic art shows, and a variety of joint musical performances. The highlight was the virtual reality exhibit, which was met with awe and appreciation from all who experienced it. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, who had initially struggled with Zolarian customs, found himself deeply moved by the festival. "It's amazing how far we've come," he reflected, speaking to Captain Hart. "From that first shocking greeting to this, a celebration of all that we've learned from each other." Captain Hart smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment and optimism. "It's a testament to what we can achieve when we focus on understanding and respect. Today isn't just a celebration of our cultures, it's a reaffirmation of our commitment to peace." The festival ended with a speech from High Emissary Lyra, who echoed Captain Hart's sentiments. "This festival symbolizes our journey from curiosity to understanding, from solitude to solidarity. Let it also symbolize our future, bright, shared, and harmonious." As the Pioneer prepared to depart Zoran, heading back to Earth to share the successes and lessons of their mission, Captain Hart took one last look at the thriving Harmony Center. He felt a profound connection to this world and its people, a connection that he knew would endure beyond the span of his command. Reflecting on the mission, Captain Hart recorded his final log entry. "Our journey began with a simple mission of exploration and turned into something much greater, a journey of cultural integration and shared destiny. We leave behind not just a research facility, but a beacon of joint aspirations, a place where two species learned not just to coexist, but to thrive together." With the Zolarian sun setting behind the Harmony Center, the Pioneer lifted off, leaving a world forever changed by its contact with humanity. As the spaceship ascended, the crew looked back at Zoran, their hearts filled with hope for a future where such partnerships could light up the galaxy.